beat him and tied him in a match also.
Black guy.
Yeah. Who grew up in Spokane, and the Lofton family there is a large family, you know, and one of his brothers is a professional football player, or was at one time.
I don't know, you don't tell him. I don't know. I've never heard of this before today.
Oh, he's a phenomenal guy. You know, you see him on the street, you think he was homeless or something, but he's well-to-do because he knows what to do with his money. You know, he knows how to grow it. You know, but you know he doesn't spend a whole lot of time growing it. You know, 'cause he's kind of a genius. You know, and the way he plays chess, it just amazes me. Really, really nice guy. Known him for many years, ever since he was small, because I lived in Spokane, you know, for a while. I had a band that was based there, the road band, traveled around the Northwest.
I've never been. Spokane is west.
It's east.
Oh, I'm sorry, east.
Yeah. It's in the eastern part of the state, right up against Idaho.
Okay.
So, where'd you grow up?
Military grad.
Same here, military grad.
What branch?
Army.
Air Force. I spent my formative years in South Central, and then my mom married my stepdad. We went to Idaho, Panama, Arkansas, and then full circle back to California, except it was Northern California instead of Southern California. And Northern California is where I graduated from high school, and then, yeah. So yeah, no hometown to speak of, just rambling, you know, and I don't like it really. I wish I had a hometown. It makes it so much easier to explain for one, you know. But yeah.
You ever kick it at the Fair Coffee House? It's a black-owned coffee house.
Yeah. I used to draw portraits for tips there.
Yeah. That's where I saw you, because I used to play my congas, my African percussion there. You know, when they'd have open mics, and I used to go on Sundays all the time. You know.
Right here, on the back. Okay. Charles Johnson. Okay. Professor Johnson is the father of the co-owner.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
I've met him many times.
Yeah, he's one of my biggest fans. Yeah. And so, yeah, that's how I met him through the cafe. And okay.
Yeah. Well, his daughter that is co-owner there.
Yeah.
She used to work here at the hotel. Yeah. When she had that slave mentality, you know. But she got to where she wanted to be an entrepreneur and exercise her business acumen in that way, you know.
I've had so many horrid day
she
jobs.
And Matt got together, you know. I see Matt all over the place, you know. We got a mutual admiration thing going. He always watches me like hypnotized, you know, to observe my technique, my drumming technique, because he's kind of an aspiring drummer. You know, he's a closet drummer. You know, but ask Matt sometime, you know, if he knows Frenchy.
All right.
You know,
all right.
He'll tell you we've known each other for years now. You know, and you know, I've been inspired and encouraged. You know, a lot of the music majors around town. You know, at Cornish, at UW,
at the community college.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All over.
That's where you both go to community college. Right?
Yeah. I performed at the community college. You know.
When?
About 6 years ago, one of the bellmen was taking a class in creative writing at the community college, and he invited me to come and play drums and read some of my poetry at their class, and I went and did it. You know. So I love doing stuff off the cuff like that. I tell African folk tales to children's classes all around town, you know, in the school system.
What's the word? Griot?
Yes.
G-R-O-I-T or I-O-T?
G-R-I-O-T.
Okay, that means storyteller, right?
Yeah, and not only storyteller, musicians too. You know, because to the playing of the kora, the stringed harp instrument, African
I've
harp.
seen those. Okay.
That's what the griot recites to. And they'll have drummers and other percussionists performing in the tradition, and they tell stories that way. The festival Sunjata they just had at Seattle Center is named after a West African emperor. He was one of the great emperors of the Mali Empire, which includes my wife's home country, Mali, Guinea, Senegal, Gambia. All of those countries have the griot tradition, and usually musicians in those countries come from griot families. So it's a whole context. It's not just oral tradition recited verbatim. It's done in a musical context. And you have some great griots who can recite 100 generations or more. And then you have some that could only recite less. And if they happen to be in a village where there's no one that can go back, way back, like almost 100 generations, then they will split up the knowledge load and train several different people to do maybe 30 generations each, so they can reach back as far as maybe 1,000 years.
That's who Alex Haley hooked up with.
Alex Haley, I used to search him, to get in to hear Malcolm X speak, because I grew up in New York. And I was a member of the Fruit of Islam, and the junior fruit of Islam, and so I knew Malcolm personally. We embraced one another. In fact, he introduced me to Muhammad Ali the first time I met Muhammad Ali.
Because they were friends back then. Okay.
Well, Muhammad Ali was a protege of Malcolm's. So was Farrakhan, but I've never trusted him. I mean, he was in on the assassination.
Oh, well, it's a shame I don't have a copy of AD.
We have one, but we'll get to you the next time. Sorry.
No, I was okay, how do I thumbnail this? My first novel is about an alternate future in which the Nation of Islam is given an all-black separate state that they've always been clamoring for, but being Farrakhan, it turns out to be a fascist nightmare, and it's like my book is like a black version of George Orwell's 1984. Instead of Winston Smith, you got a brother named Elijah Isaiah, you see, and it turns out that Elijah Isaiah is the son of Black Panther, Chicago Panther Bobby Rush. And so usually how it works is black man with a slave name gets it changed to an African name. But in my book, Elijah Isaiah gets his name changed from that to Fred Hampton Rush. So instead of getting in touch with the African, he gets in touch with the American in him. And in this case, it's a Panther. So like the Panther is named after Fred Hampton, so it's a chance to do homage to him, pay homage to Fred Hampton. And at the same time, it's a chance to show that it's not about going back to the African, going back to the beginning per se. It's simply about getting back to what you ought to be a part of in the first place, And the book is very much pro-Panther, anti-NY. And instead of getting tortured like Winston Smith was in 1984, the character gets experimented with, and he's frozen for hundreds of years, and he wakes up in a post-revolutionary society where it's the sort of future where, Huey and the rest of them would be proud of walking around, I mean, here, you know what?
Do you know Tamika Briggs?
No.
She's a playwright. She wrote a play that was premiered at the first international Black Sci-Fi Festival, which was held here, and her play premiered at the Seattle Repertory Theater, and we had people in the audience like Octavia Butler and Tanana Reeve Dew.
I wish I was there.
And it was phenomenal. And I played, my beating bow, and I was the music director, and one of my sons did some digital hip hop sound sampling, you know, that he had put together, and that went over really well. That was the basic backdrop music for the whole play.
Background music. Maybe you should ask him.
And what's his name that passed? That was a great playwright from Seattle. He died about maybe
radio
5
golf
years.
and fences and
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
William something, right?
Yeah. A black author, a black American author, playwright, phenomenal guy. He's world famous. He's inspired so many playwrights and other writers. But just to have Octavia Butler comment and commend me on my presence within the whole production was very rewarding and exhilarating. The writer that you just mentioned is a prophet at UW.
Professor Johnson.
Yes, Professor Johnson was there. He was there amongst zillions of other writers, wonderful writers. What's the name of the fellow that wrote Devil in a Blue Dress?
Walter Mosman.
Yes, he was there. He commended me, you know. We joked and chit-chatted for quite a while during the course. It was over a weekend. But,
Listen, we're not going to get you.
sooner or later, I'm gonna have to do
Yeah,
something related to being a doorman.
Check out.
But this is related to
That's
it.
my first novel. My info is here. You can check out the website. Maybe they're doing a documentary based on me, and we were talking about music in the background.
Hey, I'd be glad to lay down some percussion soundtrack, you know, for you. Maybe you could come and visit one of the African dance classes that I play for on Mondays and Thursdays up in the Fremont district.
Right, the information. In
One World Dance. You can Google that, and you can get the class times, and you can get some free soundtrack, you know, because the drummers come there and play traditional West African rhythms, you know, djembe, dundums, and that, and
They wouldn't mind us using the music.
they shouldn't.
Oh, right.
Are you doing it commercially or for your?
Just for ourselves.
Yeah, for ourselves.
You know,
I guess technically it's commercial, but we don't plan on
if
making
you're going to
any
make
money off
millions off of it, then we you know.
We make millions. They can have.
I'm a fair trade advocate, you know. So at least let us get a little pinch of it, you know.
Yeah, if we make millions, you can have half.
Exchange numbers.